at the beginning, we did read Allegory of the Cave, right? In here. And this is just another example of that guy. I mean, he's not... he's not exactly like the prisoners that have been chained down. It's him. It's what's going. What the problem is with him is that first prisoner that gets let go, and he's gradually clawing his way up out of the cave. He's using his muscles for the first time. He's never used them before. His eyes are getting adjusted to sunlight. It's hurting. It's a painful experience realizing these things. And for the crystal merchant, it's the same thing. He knows, I mean, because things have been getting better and better and better because he has been changing, and that change has hurt him. But there's only so much change that he can bear because if if things progress and ultimately he says, I don't know how to deal with change. I'm used to the way I am. I didn't see it before. Every blessing ignored becomes a curse. I don't want anything else in life, but you are forcing me to look at wealth and at horizons I have never known. Now that I have seen them, and now that I see how immense my possibilities are, I'm going to feel worse than I did before you arrived, because I know things I should be able to accomplish, and I don't want to do so. So his problem is that he is seeing the light, and that change has hurt him, right? Just like using your muscles, using your eyes for the first time. But once that realization fully sets in, and he sees how much of his life he's squandered, how much of his life he's wasted, then all the success in the world this late in life won't bring back the life that he's wasted. So it's kind of one of those things where how enlightened or how informed should he be at this point, right? Is it better for him to change, to make that final change and have the shop become truly successful? Because now it's never been a matter of success with the shop, right? I mean, he could have gone at any time. It's the fact that he realizes now that if he went to Mecca, it would not be what he imagined it to be. And so it's that dream that keeps him alive. He could go anytime he wanted to, but it's the dream of Mecca keeping him alive. And so if that's all he has to look forward to, and he has absolutely no other excuse, do you think that he would change? I mean, do you think that he would go to Mecca? Do you think that he would be all right if the shop became, outstandingly successful? No, I mean, he would just sit and wallow and be in misery because that's just too much for him. That's too much of his life wasted. This guy isn't an inspiration because, like I said, he becomes happy. I mean, he becomes very, very successful, which was never the point. This guy is a cautionary tale to the reader to not let. Well, first of all, to not let stupid things keep you from doing what you want to do, when in reality, it doesn't take that much to do them in the first place. And if you do pass up opportunities for too long, or if you do set off a goal for too long, for no reason at all, that goal or that dream will ultimately become a fantasy, and fantasies are never meant to be realized. On 59, we see that the old man kind of makes a sacrifice for the boy because, like I already said, it's going to cause him more pain and suffering. But the more money they get, the faster the boy can get on with his own dreams. And so he says, as he smothered the coals in the hookah, he told the boy that he could begin to sell tea in the crystal glasses. Sometimes there's no way to hold back the river. So the crystal merchant is going to become very successful and very wealthy, but it's not for him. He does that for the boy because it's going to cause him more pain, right? Because he's literally going to be sitting around with nothing to do, knowing that he's wasted his life. But it will allow the boy to get on with his own life and his own journey much faster. On 59, who do you think, what biblical characters are appearing on page 59? The men climbed the hill, and they were tired when they reached the top. But there they saw a crystal shop that offered refreshing mint tea. They went in to drink the tea. "My wife never thought of this," said one, and he bought some crystal. He was entertaining guests that night, and the guests would be impressed by the beauty of the glassware. The other man remarked that the tea was always more delicious when it was served in crystal because the aroma was retained too. The third said it was a tradition in the Orient to use crystal glasses for tea because it had magical powers. So there were three men traveling together. Yeah, three wise men. And I say this because it's commonly believed that the three wise men, one of them was, well, first of all, it's three wealthy men buying crystal, and one of the wise men was supposed to be from the Orient, and so he's not specific. He's not saying that this is the wise men, but this is the three wise men. But he's implying that these are the biblical characters. And again, they have no role in here. It's just, I mean, they have no real role in here. It's just the fact that Santiago keeps on crossing paths with these biblical characters, because there's a lot of biblical symbolism, and so he keeps that consistent. Now, 62. He says, "But the sheep had taught him something even more important, that there was a language in the world that everyone understood, a language that the boy had used throughout that time that he was trying to improve things at the shop. It was the language of enthusiasm, of things accomplished with love and purpose, and as part of his search for something believed in and desired. Tangier was no longer a strange city, and he felt that, just as he had conquered this place, he could conquer the world." So, again, we'll see that, because what did he leave? What does he leave this place with?
More money, new abilities, and understanding.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the training scene or the training montage in movies, whatever. He leaves his place with enough money to do what he needs to do. He knows the language, he knows the customs, and he has been trained properly to survive across the desert. He's used to this now, and he needed this. It was necessary for him. And again, it's all part of that idea that the universe helps you or conspires to help you achieve your goals. Because if he would have simply turned around and gone back, he had the opportunity to go back, right, and go back to his home and become a shepherd. When he got robbed and all that. And so if he would have done that, or if he would have never been robbed and if he would have been allowed to just go straight to the pyramids, he never would have survived the desert. He never would have survived the culture. He never would have learned the language. And he ultimately would not have had enough money and learned the things that he needed to learn. Because it's not the money that's the most valuable part. It was the experience here that he got, and being able to learn the customs and learn the language to get himself and help himself survive. On 64, he says, "The hills of Andalusia were only 2 hours away, but there was an entire desert between him and the pyramids. Yet the boy felt that there was another way to regard his situation. He was actually 2 hours closer to his treasure. The fact that the 2 hours had stretched into an entire year didn't matter." Right? And this is, again, a gradual shift in perspective for the boy. The fact that it took him a year to get 2 hours away doesn't change anything at all, right? He's still 2 hours closer to his journey. It's not that he's been 2 hours away from his home the entire time for a year. He's 2 hours. Now he's 2 hours closer. Which is an important, I mean, that's basically the half is glass, the half is glass. The glass is half empty, the glass is half full kind of deal. But through that experience, right, a gradual shift in perspective, which is ultimately what Coelho is hoping to accomplish with the reader, is just a gradual shift in perspective. And the things that you gain along the way. On 65, he says, "He suddenly felt tremendously happy. He could always go back to being a shepherd. He could always become a crystal salesman again. Maybe the world had other hidden treasures But he had a dream, and he had met with a king. That just does not happen to anyone, or that does not happen to just anyone. Now, again, he's gaining these skills and gaining these abilities along the way. He can always go back and be a shepherd now. He can be a shepherd anywhere that there's sheep. He could always be a crystal salesman now. He could be that anywhere that there's crystal, because he knows how to do these things, and it only comes through these experiences. Now, on 66, he says, all his life and all his studies were aimed at finding the one true language of the universe. Now, did I talk to you guys much about, or at all about, like string theory and stuff like that with the idea? Okay, it's funny because I'm not a physicist or a science authority at all, but I am a nerd, and a nerd, yeah, hardcore nerd. I just don't wear glasses, and so I watch the Discovery Channel a lot, and they have the different theories on.
Love Discovery Channel.
That's not the one with all the surgeries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Really? No,
It
it's
used to
not.
be
Doesn't bother me.
I used to watch it with one eye. Now I can watch it with both eyes.
Well, on the Discovery Channel, when they're not doing surgeries, they start talking about the universe and how the universe is put together, and they figure all of they try to. Physicists now are trying to, and they have been for a long time, is figure out the common denominator, how everything is put together. Because there's the theory of chaos theory, that things just magically happen, and we're all things are happening for no reason whatsoever, but somehow it's all staying together. If it's all cohesive, even though things are still chaotic, then there is some kind of cohesive language, and they try to explore that because the universal language is mathematics, right? Because 2 + 2 is 2 everywhere, right? No matter what language you speak, 2 + 2 is always going to be 2, and no matter where you are, that language is always the same. You don't have to look at me bug-eyed; it's true. Anyway, now, and the thing with and the reason that a lot of physicists look at this kind of stuff, and specifically with mathematics, is the idea that and looking for some type of pattern, because the reason that chaos theory doesn't really hold up, or that the idea of accidents creating all of these things, is that we didn't make up math, right? Math is not an invention. Math is a discovery. The laws of math, the simple, like I said, 2 + 2 is always 4. Well, we didn't make that up, right? That's always been there. The law of math, that mathematical formula, has always been in existence. And the laws of math are constructed, right? They're rules and they're laws that have obviously, they work out too perfectly to have been simply just created by chance, created by happenstance. Now, whatever those laws or rules are, wherever they come from, like that's what they're searching for. That's what the search for.